Right people, so we're doing the walk around on the 200k mile GTI today. Before we get into it though, I just want to give a quick thank you to all of you new subscribers. Since I put the video up on that a couple of days ago, I think we've got just over 1,000 subscribers that are new, so big thank you to all of you guys who are interested in this 200k mile great car. But yeah, we're essentially going to show you guys the stuff that I can see from just having a look at it briefly, or anyone could see just walking up to it. The plan is to get it up on a ramp and do like a full inspection video. That will be coming very soon. But yeah, if it's the first time you're watching one of these GTI high mileage project videos, subscribe if you like this sort of thing. I'm planning to do a lot of videos on this. I'm actually really excited that I got it actually. But yeah, no, what we'll do, we'll get cracking with the walk around. Yeah, just show you guys what's wrong with it. Right people, so we'll start with the outside first. It is a bit sort of rough edge like I said, but it's nothing too bad. We'll begin with the front anyway. One of the things you'll notice straight away if you're familiar with these cars is that normally the headlights tend to be misted up when the car is this age. Now this car has had new headlights fitted. These are the standard halogen ones, but they are new OEM units, so that explains why it does look kind of clean at the front, you could say. But if you go up closely, you can see front part of the bumper seems to be like the lacquer's peeled off. A lot of these things I was already aware of anyway. I tried to make it a bit more clean looking today. I hosed it down slightly so we can see some of the stuff in a bit more detail. I've also got a little scuff here, so maybe the car did sideswipe something or just scrape another car when exiting a parking space. The rest of it, the badge seems to be fine. Plate, as you can see, is quite an old plate. Physically, the actual plate itself, like even the bolts are rusted slightly, but generally seems to be wear and tear as you can expect. In terms of the front wings, this side hasn't actually got too much of a rust issue. Now, the one thing with Mark V Golfs, they do have a known issue where the inside of the wing, it just starts to rust. Now if you go around this side, the car actually does have this issue, but on this particular wing. Now this, to anyone who's unfamiliar with Mark V Golfs, might think that is a bit sort of, you know, scary to see on an old car when you're picking it up used, but it is a known issue. So this is something you can get sorted relatively cheap. But the one thing with this car though, it has got metallic paint. Steel grey I believe it's called in the UK. So to paint match it and all of that stuff might be expensive, but like I said, this is a project car, so I'm not too interested as long as the car works fine. Move around the side. The car has got winter tyres like I mentioned in the collection video. It's a full set matching all the way around. I think they're Bridgestones as well. It's pretty cool to be honest. Got fairly decent amount of tread as well. The standard 17-inch alloys too. Don't actually look too bad to be honest. They haven't got too many curb marks. This car did spend a lot of its time out in the countryside. That explains why it's a bit mucky. I haven't really fully washed it yet because I want to do like a detailing video. Now one thing I did want to ask some of you guys who are more familiar with Mark V's than me is, are these brake calipers in the factory paint or have these been resprayed? Because they do look a bit bright to me. I wasn't too sure to be honest, so if you look at the back one here, it is quite bright. So I don't know, it just looks to me like it's been repainted. It just looks a bit too bright for an OEM paint. Mirrors seem to be relatively okay. Look like it got one tiny little scuff there. Generally it does seem to be straight. I mean, if you look at the side here, there doesn't seem to be any dings or anything like that. I think it's mostly just wear and tear from just the age of the car. Now there is a few more little bits of rust on the car as expected with a Mark V Golf of this age. The more noticeable one is this sill here. As you can see, rust around the edge. Hopefully the camera focuses. So we've got that there, and we have got the front left wing. I did see this when I was picking up the car, so I was aware of it. It was covered in muck when we picked it up, but this was noticeable straight away even through the muck. I've got a little bit here it seems, but nothing that concerns me too much. Like I said, it is a £2,000 car, you gotta remember. If you're after something that's a bit more clean, you're probably gonna have to up your budget to around 3.5k. Right, so moving to the rear of the car, one thing should be noticeable to any person who's familiar with a Mark V GTI. The rear tailgate is a different tailgate. It's not the same one that it came with when it was new. I believe the story behind this, the previous owner did tell me he reversed into a skip, so he had to replace the rear tailgate. Now the way you could tell it's been replaced, first of all, it's got the badging wrong. The GTI should be on that side and there should be no Golf badge. I mean, now that I've cleaned it, you can actually see where they've removed the old badge. Maybe it said TDI there or something. The paint seems to be matched fine. It's still steel grey, but one of the main sort of things you could tell or gives it away, apart from the badging, is that it hasn't got a GTI rear spoiler. Now we do need to get that sorted, so Hopefully soon I'll pick up a GTI spoiler just to finish off the rear end of the car, because if I step back here, it does look a bit like a 19 TDI or something like that with these alloys put on it. Brake lights and everything work fine. The rear bumper is a bit of a mess though. We've got a scratch there, but this seems to be I think it's a rubber bit anyway. Standard Mark 5 GTI has this rubber bumper thing at the bottom. ED30 seems to be colour matched, but this one is just, yeah, we got this little scuff here too. So maybe that happened when it got hit by the skip, or I believe he reversed into the skip on his driveway. So it wasn't like the cars had a rear end shunt. So no red flags there. It is a HPI clear car, before anyone gets confused or thinks this is a crash car. It's not. It's just a bit used, you could say. Exhaust tips do look a bit knackered, but that's all going to get changed out anyway, because this exhaust system is too quiet. It's a standard factory system. To give you guys a proper look at it, because I don't want to give a half-assed video, we're going to do the full inspection video at a certain Audi Volkswagen specialist. It's going to be like a proper video, so for that we will do it properly. But there are some things underneath, like the suspension bushings, etc., that need to be done on this car. I've got all the paperwork, and the owner did tell me previously what needs doing, but generally to drive it isn't too bad. But yeah, like I said, continue with the bodywork. The back door here, I found this little scratch under the mud. Could have been something quite sharp, so it's just gone in slightly. Nothing too bad. In terms of the rear door, it hasn't got the rust issue on the sill, which is a relief, but it's got this one little bit here. Again, nothing that concerns me too much. Little bits of rust on a old Mark 5 GTI is to be expected. May have said that about 10 times by now, but just to make you guys aware. But yeah, straight car again on the side, in terms of, you know, there's no dents or whatever I can see from here. Right, so what we'll do now, we'll move on to the interior. This is one area I think this car excels, especially for the age and mileage. I was very impressed, to be honest. You will have seen it briefly in the collection video. I think I'll show you guys the best bit first anyway, the rear seats. Now, apart from a little bit of dirt, these look like they've hardly been sat in the last, say, 5 or 6 years, you could say. There's no tears, and look how clean it is. It just needs a bit of a detail, you could say, but to me that looks very good. It looks like something that's maybe on a car less than half the mileage of what this is. Parcel shelves all there intact, and we've even got the old head unit, the factory one, in that box. The owner did provide me with it. It's actually got a Pioneer head unit, which I wasn't too familiar with when I picked up the car, but having used it a couple of times, it's got CarPlay, everything, so it's actually very responsive. Another thing this car has, it's got that ski loading thing, so put the armrest down. I did already loosen that. Not like I'm going to bring skis in the car, but it's another option it does have. It's also got black headlining, which is nice. Goes with the sort of interior. It's a very smart cabin, I'm not going to lie, especially for £2 grand. Come on. Right, so front door card wrapped in leather as well. Looks like there's a little bit of a chip there. See, I'm giving you guys a full detailed walk around. Nothing missed on this car. Seems to be a bit of rust there, I think. Another spot of rust. That's just grass because it's just a mess here. I'm working on getting a more of a suitable space to do walk arounds and just work on the car, because I am planning to do a lot more DIY videos, but we'll get into that later. In terms of the driver's seat, like I showed in the initial video, got a GTI logo there, and no tears in the seat. And it seems to be the case that this is the only seat that's been used. That seat isn't even too bad. It's just been the case of a daily commute for X amount of years. That's what it's been. I mean, sitting in them, they've got very good side support. The bolsters don't seem to be worn out at all. Like, you're proper sort of secured in this thing. Of course, the clocks too. All works fine. Speedo works, all of that stuff. There's nothing funky going on. The one thing that is kind of worn out is this key. As you can see, it's a bit battered. Even the Volkswagen logo has decided to disappear. It shakes a bit as well. I mean, if you look at this, maybe it's loose or something. I have got 2 keys. The other one's batteries died as well, so definitely very good. What we will do now is we will open up the bonnet, because I want to show you guys the engine bay. I'll start the car up as well. You can hear the start up. It's actually not too bad. See, no weird noises, nothing like that. I have seen this on other Mark 5s. The bonnet doesn't stay open much. Look, it wants to go down. Now it's staying. I might shut off the engine so I can talk a bit clearly, but as you've heard, idle's fairly nice. Now, this engine bay is filthy. There's no other way to put it. This is partially due to the fact, like I said, where this car has been sort of residing for the last, I believe since 2011. It doesn't seem to have ever had an engine bay clean from what I can see. Pretty easily remedied. We are going to do it when we get the detailing vid done. But yeah, this engine cover, I'm going to get rid of it. It's very ugly. I want to sort of get rid of it permanently. I'm not going to leave it on, but it's weird. It's the first time I've seen a engine cover where you actually connect stuff into it. So that's the MAF there, intake, and this horrible looking air feed here, man. It literally looks like it's got sand on it almost, but this is just mud that's ingrained on there. Well done. Now my hand's dirty. In terms of what's wrong with the engine itself, we are going to find out very soon. The idle's nice and it's had an oil change every 5k, but stuff like the cam follower, I need to have a look at that. The PCV valve, I need to do that as well, and the latest revision of the diverter valve. That probably explains some of the lack of boost, you could say. I'd say when driving this thing, it is fine. It doesn't make no funny noises when you're driving. The DSG is fine, but I will say that, you know, the early part of the revs, it is a bit lazy and then it comes in. So I've seen this to be a common fault on the Mark 5 forums and just the way the GTI is. I think this car's on its original parts from what I've been told. Even the turbo is original, believe it or not. It does sound like a bit of a red flag, I know, but if the turbo goes, we'll stick a KL4 on it, like I said. But yeah, visually, I think it's just this hinge that's messed up. Right, so that was a quick look of what I can see that's wrong with the GTI. Nothing too overly technical. This is what anyone could see if they saw this thing on the road. We are going to do the full technical on the ramp thing soon, but I won't repeat it too much because I know you guys have heard it already. But yeah, like I said anyway, if you enjoy these kind of project builds on cheaper cars, make sure to subscribe. I am going to bring you guys a lot more content. If it does well, I will do more cars. Just got to see the sort of support this car gets, but so far I'm very impressed. But anyway guys, enough of that rambling. I'll see you in the next video.